Hey guys, Michael here. Welcome back to Gaming for Immersion. And what's playing out in the background here is a good example of a choke point battle. It's relevant to the discussion, which hopefully will make sense in a minute. I'd like to talk a little bit about difficulty in Total War Warhammer. First in general, and then more specifically about one part of it, which is pausing in battles. When I first started brainstorming for this video, I thought it was going to be all about why I think you should turn up the difficulty and stop pausing your battles. There's still going to be some of that original idea in this video, but the more I reviewed my notes of feedback that folks have given on other videos, I realized that there are differences between what each of us finds enjoyable, and there are some pretty good reasons why some players might prefer to tone down the challenge. Heck, even I sometimes want a more chill gaming evening and take a break from the soul-crushing settings that I usually use. So what follows is going to be my, most of the time, very unscientific, subjective thoughts on the subject. And I'd really like to hear in the comments what you agree with and what you don't, what your own personal settings are and why, or any other thoughts that you may have on the topic. So with that in mind, for me, there are 4 reasons to try higher difficulties. Number 1, you don't know what you're capable of until you try it. I don't want to sound like I'm lecturing people about life, but this is something that happens in all sorts of things, not just gaming, and it's pretty useful to understand yourself, your capabilities, and your limitations. And talking about knowing your limitations, I know my micro in this game is not the greatest. It's definitely not my strength as a player. I'm no entity. As Sun Tzu would say, it's good to know this about yourself and plan accordingly. Number 2, you'll become a better player. I don't think that needs any further explanation. Number 3, for me, and I know I'm not the only one, the most exciting and memorable experiences in gaming are all about what I call those oh shit moments. Those times when things go pear-shaped and your adrenaline starts pumping and your brain kicks into overdrive and you make split-second decisions and click so furiously that your hand starts hurting, and then when it's all said and done, you somehow still emerge victorious. That's the real glory of gaming. The battles that you cruise through and go all according to plan are relaxing and productive and efficient and ultimately completely forgettable. Number 4, you need to lose sometimes in order to appreciate winning. Just like number 2, I don't think this really needs any further explanation. So Warhammer 3 gives you a lot of different difficulty settings to customize your experience. You've got the campaign difficulty, which affects mostly the buffs and debuffs the player and the AI receive in campaign, but also a little bit about battles. There's the battle difficulty, which affects the behavior but not the stats of the AI units in battle. There's the lazy in-game crisis mechanism to arbitrarily try to make the campaign more challenging. The unit stat slider gives more flexibility than I think is even necessary in terms of giving the AI some cheats in battle. And then Iron Man mode prevents you from save scumming, which is something I never do anyway in any game, so I don't need a setting for it, but some folks might like the imposition. Anyway, you can mix and match all of these settings to tailor the experience to your own personal skill level and desired challenge. And I'd be curious to hear some of the creative choices that you guys have. I've heard people who play on high campaign and low battle difficulties and vice versa and had good reasons for doing so. But the one that I want to focus on for the rest of this video is a piece of the legendary campaign difficulty or a self-imposed way of playing, and that's pausing in battle. In case anybody's unfamiliar, legendary campaign difficulty prevents you from issuing orders in battle when you pause the game. You can, of course, accomplish the same thing by just not pausing. I believe this one setting is the single most impactful to your overall experience with this game. Going back to just some of the 4 points I mentioned earlier, It will definitely make you a better player. It will force you to become better at micro. It will create more oh shit moments that force you to think faster and faster and switch to emergency mode. It will make you panic from time to time and create those dopamine hits of snatching victory from the jaws of defeat. To summarize, it will recreate the realistic chaos of actual warfare in a way that hopefully most of us won't have to experience in real life. It's also the biggest jump in the learning curve for this game. Microing a battle without the ability to pause comes down to letting your brain process a lot of data in the background. Basically, you have to have a rough idea what is happening in other parts of the battlefield while you're focused on something else. And there's really no substitute here for experience. There's no way to get to being competent at it without going through the struggles of being bad at it for a while, then better, but maybe still uncomfortable, and then finally, just like in sports, the action slows down enough that your brain can process it all reasonably efficiently. And when you get there, it's worth it, my opinion. There are little things, little tricks that can help. That brings us back to the battle here in the background. Choke point battles are great because they allow you to park a lot of your units and only have to focus on a few at a time. This one in particular was really fun. It still went completely nuts as Nakari made everything happen much faster than I expected it to and broke through my lines quicker than I was prepared for. And yet there was just enough that I could leave in place without microing that allowed me to focus on the emergencies as they occurred. When I was editing this episode, I heard myself twice say out loud that I was going to lose the battle. And so when it ultimately turned into a victory, that was such a huge feeling. I personally think that pausing this battle to give battle orders would have ruined the experience for me. Anyway, I hope that's enough to convey the basic idea and to get this conversation started. If there's one thing I've learned in the last year of making videos, there are a lot of other ideas and opinions besides my own that have merit, so please share yours. I'll leave it at that for now. Hopefully that all makes sense though. Love to hear your thoughts. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching and listening, and I will see you all in the next video.